Okay, so if we start with backstitch, it's a nice simple stitch that's often used for outlining images on an embroidery. So once you've threaded your needle and knotted one end, you can bring your needle up through the fabric wherever you want to start your outline. For the first stitch, you're going to push your needle back down through the fabric about 3 to 4 millimeters along the outline, like so, and pull it through. That's your first stitch. Now, for the stitches from this point onwards, you're going to be moving in a forwards direction, but the actual stitches are going to be going backwards. So bring your needle up through the fabric, another 3 to 4 millimeters along the outline. So same distance basically as your first stitch. And then you're going to take that needle back down through the fabric at the end of the previous stitch. Then you're going to do the same again. So bring the needle up through the fabric, 3 or 4 millimeters along your line, and bring it back down through the fabric at the end of the previous stitch. And you carry on like so. As far as the length of lines, or rather the length of stitches go, they can vary between 1 or 2 millimeters up to 4 or 5 millimeters. So for a nice straight line, you might want to do stitches that were slightly longer, so 4 or 5 millimeters long. But for a curve, you definitely want to make slightly shorter stitches because that makes a much smoother curve. So for a curve, you're probably looking at stitches about 2 millimeters in length, like so. And you just continue doing this until you get to the end of your outline, like so. Now, one thing that you can do to further your backstitch, if you want a much smoother line, is you can do something called a whipped backstitch. And that can make your line look a lot more smoother. So for example, if you're wanting to do the stem on a flower, a whipped backstitch is quite a nice stitch to do. So for that one, you do your outline in the backstitch as normal, and then you go back to the start of your outline, bring the thread up, and what you're going to do is you're going to weave your thread through each of the stitches. So you're not actually going to be putting your needle through the fabric at all for this point. So for example, you're going to take the needle and you're going to take it to one side of the first stitch, and you're going to pass it through the stitch above the fabric and pull. So you'll see that the needle has not gone through the fabric. Then you're going to come back across to the same side, push the needle through and bring it out. Back to the side, push it through, and again carry on. Bringing it on here to the right, under the stitch to the left, bring it back over to the right, under the stitch to the left, bring it back over from the right, under the stitch to the left. Ooh. And then to finish it, you just push your needle through the end of the outline, pull it through, and you can knot it as usual.